was considering a topic for the speech. And when I say considering, I was thinking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks. I was coming up with nothing. 2 weeks ago, I was talking to Greg, and he inspired me to just get on with it. Pick a day, make my speech, and just do it. So here I am. Incidentally, 2 days later, on a sunny Saturday afternoon, I was just walking down the street in downtown Fort Mill, and I had an aha moment. The whole speech just came together for me in that instant. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster, and welcome guests. To begin my story, I decided to join Toastmaster because I was experiencing a career change. Many of you know I was a teacher for many years. I had no problem standing up in front of a group of 13-year-olds, which probably would frighten most people, but that was okay for me. But to stand up in front of a group of adults was very frightening for me. If it was a group of peers, it made it even worse. I just sat there, I was silent, and I just kind of listened to what everybody would say. I just didn't have the guts to speak up. And most times, if I had the guts to speak up, I would say something silly. I didn't mean to say something silly, but it just came out. Or, I tend to get up on my soapbox a lot, and I would just say something very passionate and feel very afraid that I offended people, and I would worry about it and overanalyze it, and I just couldn't take it. So at some point I just said to myself, you know what, I just got to keep my mouth shut. So from that point on, I just never said anything in the presence of adults. But running my husband's front desk in his office, I was going to deal with adults every single day, so I had to get over that. So I decided to join Toastmasters and work on that skill. I couldn't successfully represent him or our business unless I could interact with adults. And we're in a customer service-based business. So if your customer service isn't good, well, people could just go somewhere else, couldn't they? Now, I'm not 100% there yet, but I am getting more confident as the weeks go on, and I'm feeling very thankful for Toastmasters and very blessed that I'm making the strides that I'm desiring. Now, let me share some other examples with you. And this is kind of just Toastmasters. I did table topics. The first time I sat there and I read from my paper like this. The second time that I did it a few weeks ago, I didn't even use my paper. And at that point I noticed I have some verbal garbage that I really need to clean up. So I started listening to myself speaking, and that's something that I'm really striving to work on. I also decided just to go ahead and do General Evaluator. I really had no idea what I was doing last week for that role, but I just stepped up and did it, and I'm very pleased with what I did, and I feel like even next time I'll do better. Now here's some personal things. The other day, I was riding in a car somewhere, a long car trip, with a couple of other adults, and instead of just sitting in the back seat and listening to what everybody was saying, I actually jumped in and participated in the conversation. So I was very proud of it, and I realized it at that moment, and I have Toastmasters to thank for that. Now back to my aha moment. I was walking down the street in downtown Fort Mill. Now this is just a little south of Charlotte if you're not familiar with it. What was I doing? Well, I was walking door to door, introducing myself to businesses, going up to complete strangers, and telling them about an event we were doing with our office. I had no idea who these people were. I just went, introduced myself, gave them my flyer, and said, please come to our event. We're very excited about it. Now this is something that I would have never, ever, ever done in a million years 4 months ago. I would have never had the confidence to go up to a stranger and speak to them. So I'm very thankful for Toastmasters in encouraging me and increasing my self-confidence. Now I feel like in just a few short months I've made great strides. My self-confidence has gone up. I've noticed that my interactions with adults have improved. My husband is very happy because it was a little bit of a struggle in the beginning, but I've been working on my skills. I'm more confident when I'm dealing with patients. I don't speak to them with sweaty palms and nervously and shaking. I speak to them very, very up front and confidently. And I was thinking this morning, what could I compare Toastmasters to? Now this is probably a strange comparison, but I'm just going to put it out there. Toastmasters is like yoga. When you go into the class as a new person, you look around and feel like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. Look at these people, they're so flexible. I can't do the bow pose, I can't do the eagle pose. But if you keep up with it week after week after week, you'll notice, you'll make small improvements, and one day, aha, you'll be able to do the bow pose just like everyone else. Thank you.